All right, so everybody, welcome to Kodel Kol Shira in partnership with Breslov.org, and of course in partnership with Yeshiva Torah Shimon. Okay, it's Parshat Chayei Sara. This is a parsha that's there are so many lessons to be learned out of this parsha. It's fascinating, really fascinating. I mean, we start off with the parsha being called Chayei Sara. Interesting, right? It's the life of Sarah. You would think that we were talking about Sarah passed away. So why would you be talking about Chayei Sara, right? You ever think of that?
That's a good question.
Right, okay. And that's, well, there's many explanations for that. But the one we're going to go with right now is the fact how Sarah Imenu really did the best that she could and she made the best of every circumstance that she found herself into, and we know that Rashi tells us, you know, when she was 100, she was like 20, and then when she was 20, she was like 7, and so on, because she was always so wonderful, right? She was mamish wonderful, and she always lived her life to the fullest. She lived her life to the fullest. There's some noise. Can you please mute? Yeah. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So now let's discuss now a couple of things outside, and then we'll learn something inside. Okay? Like we always like to, we'll do a little review of the parsha. So Sarah died, and there's many pshatim of what caused her to die. Right? One of them that I found was very interesting was that she didn't know where Abraham was. So she went and she asked Og. Remember Og Melech Habashan, Og, he was that giant. He was the giant that came to inform Abraham that Lot was taken captive. Remember that? Right? The Python. He called him the Python. That was Og. So she went to Og. He was a giant. And she asked him, "Oh, do you know where Avram and Yitzchak are?" So Og was the giant that he was. He was looking around. He was so tall, and he was able to see. And he told her, "Well, I see that there's a man on the mountain, and he's about to slaughter somebody." And the Medrash says that's when she expired. She expired at that when she heard that. That's pretty. And there's another understanding that the Satan showed her that it was all over. Showed her that you know, all of the promises and everything that Hashem said were going to come true, and so on like that. And then well, unfortunately, she passed away. All right. Well, look. Everyone has to pass away, and Sarah Imenu, we know, died at 127. When she was 127, and we know that Esther Amalka was worthy to get 127 provinces, right? She had 127 cities and provinces and countries that she was over because of Chayei Sara. Because of the life of Sarah was 127, so she got one for every year of the life of Sarah Imenu. Unbelievable. Now you see from that, you know, Sarah Imenu, you know, she didn't start out as being the tzaddikas, but we know that a person, every time when a person comes to meet to their level where they're supposed to be at now, and they come to that level now, via them coming to that level now, is all the things that brought them to that level is also considered good. If the person comes to the fruition, and he come to who he's supposed to be, who she's supposed to become, so then everything that brought the person to that level It's considered part of the process to get the person to that level, so that's also considered good. It's fascinating to understand that. Did you know that, Ernie?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
In other words, it knows that someone, when you're trying to get closer to Hashem, and the person's going through all of the turmoil, to understand that process is special. That process is special because that process is the process to bring the person to who the person has to be actually become. And it's something very, very unique, very, very special. And all right, well, that's that we can understand that. Now, well, let's talk about Avram Avinu. It says that Avram Avinu, he came to say a hesped, to say a eulogy over Sarah Imenu. Now, the question is, what did he say? The Torah says he came to say the hesped, but the Torah doesn't tell us what he said. Interesting. Also, where in the word of levchosa, to cry, the chaf is made smaller. If you look in the Sefer Torah, you'll see it's a smaller chaf. So the question is, why is it a smaller chaf? So really, Avram Avinu was very careful not to cry too much. Now let us understand something. Avram Avinu loved his wife, right? We know that. Avram Avinu would have did everything and anything for his wife. He loved his wife. But Avram Avinu understood that the Satan was trying to catch him. What happened? In other words, he went to do the Akedah, right? He went to do the Akedah, right, to sacrifice Yitzchak, and he got tremendous credit for that, correct? Tremendous credit for doing that. Now, if he comes back and he realizes, which he did realize, that Sarah Imenu passed away, and he finds out that she passed away only because of this, he may have had charata, he may have had remorse. Why did I even go do this? Why did I go do this? If this is the case, why would I have even wanted to go do this? Because what do you call it? I caused the demise of my wife, and then he would detract from his reward for doing the mitzvah itself. You understand? In other words, if he would cry too much and he would show too much remorse, too much pain, so then it would be the pain came because of this. And then it was that maybe he would have remorse on what he did, and that he didn't want to do. So Avram Avinu said that the hesped, he said it. He didn't cry too much. Of course, he cried, and of course Avram Avinu he said that now. But what were the words he said? He talked about Sarah Imenu. He talked about Sarah Imenu. Those are the words he said. Look at what Sarah Imenu accomplished. In her years, when she was 90 years old, she gave birth to Yitzchak Avinu. Isn't that amazing? She was 90 years old. I don't know, do you ever hear of a 90-year-old having a baby? Ernie, do you ever hear that?
No, never.
But the Torah tells us that she was 90 years old when she had Yitzchak Avinu, when he was born. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable that Sarah Imenu, what she was able to come. Sometimes, let's say someone passes away on a holiday, or sometimes that you can't say a hesped. Sometimes there are certain days, right? Like on the Rosh Chodesh, right? It could be on a Yom Tif, right? It could be on a Chol Hamoed. But when you come and you see the family that's there, and you see the heritage that the person left, it's amazing. That's the hesped itself. When you see the beautiful family, you're showing how wonderful the person was and what the person accomplished. So that alone was showing it. So Avram Avinu didn't have to really say too much. It was more, he had Yitzchak Avinu. And it's unbelievable. And to understand how Yitzchak, at the age of 37, was able to give his life over to Hashem, to give his life over to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Unbelievable that he was able to do that. Unbelievable that Yitzchak Avinu was able to do it. Now, let's discuss a few different things. So Avram Avinu goes and he wants to buy the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, right? He wants the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, right? Why did he want that? Where did he know about it? Why did he know about the Ma'aras HaMachpelah? So I'll tell you something very interesting. It's brought down the Zohar. I saw it in different svarim that Avram Avinu. There are two ways to understand it. One, it said that when he was by the Equated, when he was at the Equated, and it said that there was an animal stuck with its horns in the sabach in the branches, right? So it says that the animal got away and the animal ran away. And the animal, Avram was chasing the animal. Where did the animal go? The animal went into the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. And Avram Avinu saw, wow, look at the light. He saw the light that was in the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. He saw the light that was there. It was unbelievable. Avram Avinu, there's another gersa that says that when Avram Avinu was preparing the cows, the 3 cows, for the 3 angels in last week's Parsha, right? The 3 cows in Parshat Chayei, right? The 3 cows. So one of the cows ran away, and that cow was the cow, and it ran into the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. I kind of like that one because Avram Avinu was living in Hebron, and Hebron is very close. That's where the Ma'aras HaMachpelah is. So it kind of makes me understanding it that he was on Hara Maria, which is Hara Bayis, right? Which is in Jerusalem, right? Right? So that's far to Hebron, right? That's far to Hebron. I mean, for just chasing an animal, but from Hebron, maybe we can understand it a little bit easier. All right, so that's how he knew about it. Now, there's so much discussion that he comes and he has to get the B'nai Ches. He has to get the B'nai Ches, all of the people that lived in the area, right? He had to get the people that lived in the area. And he comes and he has to also, he wants to meet with Ephron, Hachiti, Ephron, and he wants to buy the Ma'aras HaMachpelah from him. So if he wanted to buy the Ma'aras HaMachpelah from Ephron, why did he need all the people? You ever think of that? Why did he need to get all the people together if he was just going to buy the Ma'aras HaMachpelah from Ephron Hachiti? You understand the question? Why do you need everyone there? Why did he need to have everybody there, all the people from Chay, all the people of Ches, everyone there? So there's an understanding there's a law of Bar Metzra. The law of Bar Metzra. What is the law of Bar Metzra? If you have a property, right? Let's say you have a property and then you have your next door neighbor, right? Your next door neighbor lives next door to you and you want to sell your property. So the halacha states that you're supposed to offer the property to your neighbor first. Why? Your neighbor may want to expand his own house. He may want to plant on your field. Who knows what he may want to do. So you have to always give the neighbor the right of refusal, right? You have the first right of refusal. You have to give it to the neighbor, and if the neighbor accepts it, it's fine. All right? But if the neighbor doesn't accept it, then you don't have to. Now, the B'nai Ches were the neighbors by the Ma'aras HaMachpelah. Ephraim was the owner, but they were the neighbors. So Avram Avinu didn't want them to come back and claim. He didn't want the neighbors to come back and complain, hey, you did not offer me the land first. You didn't offer me the land first, and instead you sold it to Ephron. And then they would be able to come and buy the land, take the land away from Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu didn't want that. So Avram Avinu wanted all the people that were there, everyone that was in that vicinity, to be there so that they can agree to him taking the land, so they can never come back and claim the Bar Metzra, that they were the neighbor, and therefore they had the right to purchase it more than he had the right to purchase, because they were an existing neighbor. You follow that? You follow? And that's why Avram Avinu wanted to make sure they have all the B'nai Ches over there. And Avraham Avinu wanted to make sure that he would buy it from Ephron, right? Because Avraham Avinu said two things. He said, Ger v'toishav anoichi. He said, Ger v'toishav. Now, wait a second. When he says the words Ger means he's a stranger. A toishav means he lives there. So Avraham Avinu was telling him, I'm prepared to either take the land from you if you want to consider me a stranger, or you want to consider me a toishav. I don't care. Either way, I want this piece of land. Now, Avraham Avinu understood that Sarah, that Sarah he wanted to bury her there, but he also understood that Adam and Chava were in the Maras HaMachpelah, but they weren't buried in the Maras HaMachpelah. They were there, but they weren't buried. Why? Because the earth said, because of what you did, Adam and Chava, I was cursed. You hear this? The earth said, I was cursed. Hashem cursed the earth. So why am I going to let you come into me? But once Avraham Avinu was there burying Sarah, on that same day he said Ve'es Sarah. He also buried Sarah because he buried Adam and Chava at the same time in the Maras HaMachpelah. Fascinating understanding to understand what was going on in the Maras HaMachpelah at that time. How Avraham Avinu did what he could in order to be able to take the land, in order to get the land from Ephron. Now, right after that, Avraham Avinu decides that Yitzchak Avinu needs a wife, right? He needs a wife. So he calls over his most worthy what do you call it, servant that he has, and who is that? None other than Eliezer, right? We saw Eliezer was in last week's when he went to fight the four kings against the five kings. When he went to fight them, right? When he went to go fight him to rescue Lot, at that time, what did he do? He took Eliezer. Eliezer's 318. Remember, it said he took 318 of 318 men, or he took Eliezer because the gematria of Eliezer is 318. The gematria of Yehush, we said, Yehush the spare is 317. So therefore, he took 318, and he was able to conquer the disparity, and he was able to come and he was able to bring the rectification. All right, now Eliezer takes this task. He takes the task that he will go out and he will find the wife, for Yitzchak. Now, Eliezer also had a daughter. Did you know that? Eliezer had a daughter himself, and he was hoping that Yitzchak would marry his daughter. Isn't that interesting, right? But he couldn't do that. He knew he couldn't do that because he was from Canaan. And the Canaanim are cursed, and Klal Yisrael are blessed. We're blessed, they're cursed. He said a blessing can't go with a curse can't go with a blessing. But so even still, Eliezer went and he took on this task. He took on this task in order to be able to find the wife for Yitzchak. And the Torah spends so much time, so much psukim on telling us about all the plan that he had. He had the plan that the plan was that he would that when he would get there, there would be someone that would come out and would ask him if he would like something to drink, and if his camels would like something to drink. It's very, very interesting. Eliezer was a very strong man. We said he went to battle, right? He went to battle. If Eliezer went to battle and he was a strong man, why would anyone want to go out and bring him water? Go do it yourself. Right? You see a big strong guy coming, and he asks you for water. Hey, listen, you want water? Go get your own water. What are you bothering me for? Right? But anyway, he wanted to see, and not only that, he ran over to Rivka. When he saw Rivka, he ran over to Rivka. That even made it even stronger, because if he's well and able and he can run, so he can certainly get water, correct? But yet he did that purposely to see what Rivka would say. Would Rivka be the one that she would offer him the drink, and she would offer him for the animals as well, and which is what she did. Now it also says that he gave her the jewelry, right? He gave her bracelets and he gave her earrings, right? He gave her jewelry. But the way we understand it is he only gave her the jewelry after he prepared the jewelry first. He prepared the jewelry, it was ready, and then he asked her which family you from, right? Because again, she had to be from a certain family. She couldn't be from Canaan, right? If she was from Canaan, it would not have worked. She couldn't be from Canaan. So you had to ask her which family. Once she told him the family that she was with Besuel and Lavan. Oh, you're from the family of Besuel. Oh, so you're from Avram's family. Then he gave her the jewelry and so on. Now, another interesting thing that the Torah explains that I saw very interesting, very, very interesting, when the Torah introduces Lavan, the Torah introduces Lavan, Ushmo Lavan. His Shimcha Lavan. His name is Lavan. Now, really, we know that the Torah, we find when the Megillah in Rus, when it introduces what do you call it? Boaz. So it says Ushmo Boaz. Tzaddikim are always you would say Ushmo and then the name. His name is, and then you say the name, right? When it comes to a Russia, you first say the name, and then you say that's his name. You understand what I'm saying? I know the Torah says Ushmo Shimcha Lavan, right? So why is it putting his title, right, before his name? Rather, it should be the name and then the title. You follow, Ernie? You understand what I'm saying? In other words, the Torah is listing Lavan as if he's a tzaddik, but we know that Lavan wasn't such a tzaddik. But listen to this. This is amazing. Lavan went out to see what was going on with his sister. Lavan's sister was Rivka. Rivka was a little girl. She was a little girl. When he went out to see what was doing with his sister, he was genuine. He really wanted to see what was going on. He said, once he saw that she had the jewelry, and then he was a magnet for the money, right? He was a magnet for that money. But when he went first out to introduce, to find out what was going on with his sister, was there something? Was this? The world is not a safe place always, right? And it wasn't back then either. There was some shady people out there then too, right? So he wanted to know what was going on. He was genuine about that. Now that's a very interesting thing. I'll tell you why. Because we saw that again when it came to Yishmael, right? Remember when Yishmael was crying? Remember Yishmael, where Avraham Avinu sent him away, right? And then Yishmael found himself, he was crying. And it said that Hashem answered him, Ba'asher hu sham. Ba'asher hu sham. Hashem answered Yishmael based on who he was at that moment. And at that moment, he was righteous. And because he was righteous at that moment, Hashem answered him. Same thing over here with Lavan. Lavan over here, the Torah says, introduces him as if he was a tzaddik, because at this moment he was a tzaddik. At this moment he was a tzaddik. At this moment he was really genuinely caring about his sister. And that's why his name is Yishmael. And that's why his name was Lavan. That's why it says his name, it says first V'shimcha Lavan. It says his title, and then it says his name. Why? Because he was caring at that moment. And I was thinking, we're learning Hilchas Tzitzis in our Chabura in the morning. V'etz Hashem will start it again tomorrow. I was away, but Baruch Hashem, I'm back. Eretz Yisrael, Baruch Hashem, and we were learning about when you put on your talis, right? When you put on your talis in the morning, you do what's called an atifas yishmael. You wrap your talis like the Yishmaelim, like the Arabs wrap their head coverings on them. That's how we're supposed to wrap the talis. And I always was wondered by that. Why am I wrapping my talis like an Arab? You ever think of that? Why would I want to wrap my talis like an Arab? Why? You ever think of that? Why is it a wrapping like an Arab? Why would I have to Mordechai? Do you ever think of that? Mordechai, you ever think of that? No?
I was muted. No, I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting question, right? So listen to this idea. Maybe we'll put this idea together, okay? Again, Yishmael, Hashem answered Yishmael. Hashem answers Yishmael. And a person should always think when they're putting on their talis that I'm better than Yishmael. But Hashem even answered Yishmael. So if Hashem answered Yishmael, Hashem will certainly answer me. Right? Hashem answered Yishmael, and Yishmael was not such a good guy. But Hashem still answered him. I want to remind myself every day that Hashem answered Yishmael when I put on my talis. And I want to believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will also answer my tefillas. That He'll also answer my tefillas, because I'm not as bad as Yishmael. I may have my shortcomings. And I have to work out all my shortcomings. No question about it. But I still have one up on Yishmael. So that maybe is a reason why. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we do the Atifas Yishmael, right? And then we said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered Yishmael B'asher Sham. At that moment, he was righteous. Same thing over here by Lavan. At that moment, Lavan went out to really see what was the well-being of his sister. Who was this guy that she was with? Was this guy? Was he a shady character? He didn't know. But once he saw the money already, then it was he was a magnet for money. Lavan was a magnet for money. He loved money, and Lavan was looking for the money. But at that moment, he was righteous. So we spoke about a whole bunch of things in the parsha. At the end of the parsha, also the last thing in the parsha is Yishmael dies. We were just talking about Yishmael. That's the end of his life. Yishmael dies. Also in this parsha, Avraham Avinu dies. Did you know that? Most people don't know that. It's tucked in there. Avraham Avinu died in this parsha, and it says that Yitzchak Avinu, it mentions Yitzchak's name before Yishmael, because Yishmael let Yitzchak take the honor before him. And we see that Yishmael actually did make tshuva. Yishmael did make tshuva because he did allow that Yishmael allowed Yitzchak to take the preference in the burial of Avraham Avinu, because Avraham Avinu was his father as well, right? And then the Torah goes over the lineage of Yitzchak and so on and so on and so on. So that was the parsha in a nutshell. I gave you like the overview of the Parsha. Do we have any questions on what we spoke about? No? So we understand why about Sarah's life. We understand about Nada Maras HaMachpelah, why he was the Maras HaMachpelah. We understand how Avraham Avinu went to buy the Maras HaMachpelah, and he wanted to make sure all the Bnei Ches were there, and Ephron, he wanted to pay him the money for it so it would be his, and so on, right? We understand that. We understand Avraham Avinu's passing away. We understand the story of Eliezer, why Avraham Avinu chose that he should go and get a girl from his family and not taking the daughter of Eliezer, right? We spoke about that, correct? And we spoke about Yishmael and Lavan and everybody else. Okay, let's see something in here. I wanted to see something nice from the Kedushas Levi. Okay, the holy Kedushas Levi. I always love to see a piece on the Kedushas Levi, and Rabbi Nachman held the Kedushas Levi as the Pe'er. He held him as he had a very, very high regard for the holy Kedushas Levi. So let's see what the Kedushas Levi says. V'yu Chayei Sara Meya, right? We know it was Meya Shanim, Esrim Shanim, Sheva Shanim, Shnei Chayei Sara. Nearly, but the Siyata Deshmaya, the Kedushas Levi is saying. Schus Yogin Aleinu, right? Levi Yitzchak ben Sarah Sasha Schus Yogin Aleinu. Al pi the Amru Chazal, Umuva Barashi beParshas Vayetze bePosek in Bereshis Lamed at Pasuk Aleph. Bim Ayin Mesa Noichi the Chol Isha She'ein La Banim Kruya Mesa, right? We know that when Rachel Imeinu was said that if I don't have any child, if you're not going to give me a child, Hashem, then I'm as good as dead. A lady needs to have a child, right? Raki sheyesh labanim hi chaya. If she has children, then she's alive. Beautiful idea, right? The lady has children. That's the life of the lady. That's the life. V'yadua mamra chazal she'Hashem yizbarach amar la'Avraham Avinu. That Hashem said to Avraham Avinu Shalom, "Say me it's tag niyonus shelecha." Go out of the astrology. Go out of your astrology. Avraham Avinu saw in the stars. He saw in the stars that he wasn't supposed to have a child. That Sarah wasn't supposed to have children. But remember, Hashem changed his name. Right? He changed his name from Avram to Avraham. And he changed Sarah's name from Sarai to Sarah. Remember? Right? Hashem changed their names. So Avram and Sarai were not going to have children, but Avraham and Sarah will have children. Ki Sarai loy seile. Look what he says here. See? Ki Sarai loy seile. Sarah Tele. Sarah could give birth. Haresha Nivnis b'mazel shaloi Tele. Sarah was born in a mazel, in a mazel that she wasn't supposed to have children. Rak al yedei maisim toivim zachsa. But because she did good, and she always chose good in her life, she merited. She yishtane mazlo, that she can change the mazel. Look what we're learning here, Chevra. In other words, if you have something's going wrong in a person's life, go do good. Go do good. Go do more chesed. Go do more good things for people and change it. She yishtane mazlo. Kamer chazal mepnei ma hayu imoseinu akoros. Right, the Chazal ask him in Shira Shirim Rabbah, why were all the Imois, why were they all barren? Why were the mothers of Klal Yisrael, why were they barren? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves to hear the prayers of the tzaddikim. Harei machmas tefillah masim tovim shal Sarah zoch lebein. Through her tefillah and her masim tovim, through her prayer and through her good deeds. Sarah Meini was always doing chesed, right? She was always helping Avram with the chesed projects. When the people would come, she would help him cook, she would help him clean, she would help him with everything. She would do everything. She was working on chesed her whole life. That's who she was. That's how she had the child. That's why it's called Chayei Sara and not Mace Sara. Not the death of Sarah. It's the life of Sarah, because Sarah Imenu changed her mazel from going from death to life. How? Tefillah. Words. How? Doing good deeds. Doing good deeds and tefillah together. Shnei Chayei Sara. Perish Sarah. Gar Machayim L'shonim Shelah. Sarah caused life to her. She brought her own, she helped her own life. Al Yidei Masim Tovim, through her good deeds. Utfilasa Garma Sheyeh Chayim Lo. And her tefillah, her good deeds, caused her good. It was good. And the tefillah changed, caused life. Da'inish Ezochsa Levein, Ayidei Maisim Tovim. She merited to have a child through her good deeds. Shayadeze nikris mace, right? Loy nikris race, mace, rak chai. Then the person's not called dead. The person's called alive. Zeh shnei Chayei Sara, and that's why the Torah calls, the parsha is called Chayei Sara. Shesara garma chayim l'shonim shelah. She caused life for herself via her prayer, via her doing good deeds. V'havin. And understand this. The Kedushas Levi is telling us, please understand this. If anybody is having trouble in their own lives, and if they need help, they need help in their lives for whatever is going on, they can get the help that they need. How? Via doing chesed and prayer and davening. Let's look at one more thing over here. Rav Mordechai, you'll probably remember this. We learned this in the Hilchos Tefillin.
Yep.
It was in Halacha Hey, lesson letter 38. But let's review. Look at this. V'yu Chayei Sara. Shezeh shedarshu Rabbeinu Zal. And this is what Chazal teach us in Bereishis Rabbah. Bas Meya kivas Esra. When she was 100 years old, she was like 20 years old. Ubas Esrim kibas Sheva. When she was 20, she was like she was 7. Gizeh ikar shleimus sheyaske lichyos b'chol pam. This is the shleimus, when a person starts to live again, starts all over again. Shafilu kishemagia liyemei zikna. Even though she reached her elder years, she reached her longevity. She reached her elder years. You have to, mamish, can feel yourself that you're young. We're getting older. Feel young. You have to feel young and full of energy. You have to feel young and full of energy. As if I didn't even begin yet to serve Hashem. I didn't begin to live yet. I didn't begin to serve Hashem yet. The Chol Pam always knew Mechodash. That's the pshat, what it means when they say when the Medrash teaches us. Bas Meya kibas Esrim, Bas Esrim kibas Sheva, Shnei Chayei Sara, Kulam Shavim L'Toiva. They were all equated to good, like we spoke about when we started. All the years of Sarah Imeinu's life were equated for good. Ki kol ma shemaskin hatzadik. The older a tzaddik gets, hu adayin yanik beinav. The tzaddik is still young in his own eyes. He may be old. He may be 100 years old. It doesn't matter. In his own eyes, he's young. Ki'ilu tina kadayin, as if he's still a youngster, as if he's still a child. And therefore they can constantly add to their avodas Hashem because they have energy. And that's how you get long life. by always starting again, and always feeling newness and freshness and vigor in your serving God. Shekol yomav shnaisav heim shnais chayim be'emes. All the years of Sarah remained in his life, they were mamish alive. Ki einay oivish shum yom mimei chayav beli taisvis kedusha. There was no day at all that went on that there wasn't some extra kedusha that she added into the day, some extra holiness. That is what it means to have long life. So when a person wants to know what does it mean to have long life means that I'm prepared, that I am prepared in order to be able to start all over again all the time to start all over again. Now that we learned that, I want to learn this next piece, and we'll finish with this piece, okay? Wow, look at this. Eliezer is saying to Besuel, to Lavan, do a chesed for my master Avram. Tzrichen Leda, we have to know. That